Oh, hey!
Hey, buddy.
So, I finally got Tara to watch the rest of BBC Sherlock Season 2, or Series 2, because she'd watched the first episode on her own, and she was a bit like, eh. But she watched it, and we're going to talk, this is a review, so if you haven't seen Sherlock, or you've missed some of the episodes, go away now, because we're going to, spoil something, and I don't want you to be like, hey, I didn't know this happened! And we're not hating. We're going to clarify. Any of the things that we say that are a bit aren't hating, because it's
not hating on Sherlock. It's hating on the specific things in Sherlock.
Yeah, because it's still better than most of the other things on TV in England and America.
In the entire world, I would say.
Ever! Because it is really, really good.
Yeah.
For a TV series, it's really, really good.
And the first series especially was absolutely
And it's
amazing.
really, really well made as well. There's a plot hole, before we forget. The fucking plot hole in episode 3 that drives me mad. Everyone starts believing that Sherlock has written all of these cases, or made all of these cases up, and solved them himself. That's why this plan works. But how old do you think Sherlock is in the series? I think he plays, mid-30s?
Probably.
I don't think he's 40 in it. I think he's mid-30s. Mid or even early 30s. That would mean he was born in late 70s, or no, that'd make him 40. So 80s. He was born in the 80s, right? So then how, if he was born in the 80s, if you remember,
late 70s would work as well. Sorry.
When he gets given the Deerstalker hat,
yeah,
they're like, he found a man that's been on the wanted list since 1982. So how did a 2-year-old to let's say a 7-year-old Sherlock create this massive crime and get this criminal to commit it when he was between 2 and 7, let's say? And then if you're going to say, well, actually, no, he's, I'm just saying, obviously we know he didn't, but if you're going to go with that, if you're a person in the story, like Lestrade or Donovan, you would think, well, hang on a minute. And then you'd have to say, well, maybe he did solve that one. Well, then if he's capable of solving that one, then he's capable of solving every other one that you've given him. Yeah. So then it's all or nothing. You can't say, well, maybe he did this one, but maybe not that one. It's all or nothing. And it just really annoyed me when they were like, no, he made all this up. And I was like, what, when he was 5? I was like, no.
I don't know if you guys can tell yet, but she loves her Sherlock.
It is pretty good. Right, so the first episode, pick up the Scandal in Belgravia.
Didn't like that.
I think the general consensus is that it went the third episode was the best, and the first and then the second.
By my standards, it's 3, 2, 1.
But that's because, let's talk about story-wise, I think the first one was better, but you didn't like the first one because...
I didn't like how they slaughtered Irene Adler's character and basically turned her into a whore.
Tara is Le Feminist, and obviously the original character, Irene Adler, is quite, she outsmarts Sherlock just using her brains, and this Irene Adler is intelligent. But the way they put the modern twist on it was to make her like a whoosh dominatrix.
Basically make her skanky and use her body to get all the shit done.
Yeah, I know what he lacks. You know how to disappear? I know what he lacks. So much effort goes into it. In the first episode, when Sherlock's in the field and they have that bed, I was thinking when I was watching it, that's really good effects when the bed comes up behind him. And if you have the DVD, it's got Sherlock Uncovered, I think it's called. It's like behind the scenes. You find out it's not even effects. They made a bed and put it on a thing, and it rose up behind him. So it shows you he's actually in the field. He's just standing up, and then he pulls a blanket over himself, and then this bed just comes rising up behind him. How many people would do that for a TV series for one scene? And they built the entire fireplace and wall from Irene Adler's living room and put that in the field as well. Yeah. So they have gone through so much effort. They really, really have. And the writing's really good. The dialogue and all the deductions that he does are really, when they put the little words up, and they are really, really good. But yeah, as I was saying, in the first episode when Watson, Sherlock's trying to deduce stuff from Irene's appearance, and he can't because she's naked. And then he looks at Watson, but he sees like, oh, he uses an electric shave, an electric razor, and he hasn't shaven in a few days. But then he looks at her and he's like, well, I don't know. But you'd be able to tell because like he says in one of the episodes he wrote an article on his website about aftershave or different types of perfume. He'd at least be able to tell what perfume she's wearing because she's definitely wearing a perfume, a woman like that. And she's wearing a lot of makeup. He could probably tell what kind of brand of makeup she was wearing.
Or at least what she was wearing.
Yeah, like, so there'd be certain things at least. And Sherlock being Sherlock, he would take that and then work out something else and something else. So that was tiny nitpicky thing. But when he was like, I don't know, I was like, bullshit, you don't know. The first episode of season 2 had the funniest, my favourite moments in Sherlock in it, which was the scene in Buckingham Palace. I love the part when Watson walks in and he just looks at Sherlock and he's like, and then Sherlock's like, and he's like, oh. Like, they don't even say anything. And they're like, what's going on? I don't know. Piss. That's basically what they say. And then they sit down. And then they're like, are we here to see the Queen? Enter Mycroft.
That was
apparently
the best
so. I was
scene
really, really laughing.
ever.
That was really well written.
That was the best scene.
Get off my sheet! I think everyone likes that because they saw a bit of Benedict bum. But she's like, oh God. But I just like the way he's like, get off my sheet, or I'll just walk away. His face, he's like, that's some good acting. I was like, oh damn.
It's pretty funny.
It was really good. But yeah,
I didn't really want to see any part of his bum though, really.
Probably the only woman ever. But anyway.
Well, less competition for everyone else out there. One less competition. You know, you guys can have him.
But
I don't want him.
What else?
He's cool. Just before anyone kills
me. The
combo
bitches are coming for you.
Nothing against him, he's just not my type.
She's like, oh,
keep him, I don't want him. Even though he's very cool, I'm gonna shut up now.
Digging the hole.
Gonna bury myself in it.
But the first episode was really good. We were saying we wouldn't have saved her at the end.
No.
I would have been like, bitch, you can die. After everything she did, she was like totally gonna fuck him over. Was I the only person? Like, well, Jack did it as well.
It was obvious.
The code.
It was fucking obvious.
I am locked. I was like, well, that's gonna be... It was a nice touch, but it's a bit
obvious.
The second episode, which was the one that's...
The Hand of the Baskerville.
That generally, I think, considered the least popular. I really like the way he's deducing things. You've got the 2 words coming, you know, or 2 or 3 words. That's really good.
But when he does this,
but when he goes to his mind palace, they took that too far. I even like in the second episode where they're timing going through Baskerville because they've used Mycroft's thing. Funny part of the second episode is when Lestrade turns up. And he's like, oh, is that why you're here? Oh, incognito, saying your name's Greg. And then Watson's like, that's his name. Yeah. He's like, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
that was funny. I did not like Henry at all.
Yeah.
That guy who plays him, I forgot his name, like Russell something. Or something Russell, I don't know. They had a Russell in it. But,
he's from Being Human.
Is he?
I haven't watched Being Human.
Well, maybe he can act in Being Human if he's in that a lot, but he certainly couldn't act in Sherlock.
I was showing her this and she was like, oh, he can't act!
Oh! He was not very convincing.
Maybe, I don't know, Martin Freeman is obviously a legend. And next to Martin Freeman and Benedict Cumberbatch is pretty damn good. So next to them two, you've got to really step up or you're going to look a bit...
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me.
The way he kept saying hound as well. Hound! Everyone else was just like, hound. But he kept being like, hound. And it was really like, chill the fuck out. The third episode
was fucking epic.
Really, really good.
Really awesome. Moriarty for the win.
He is such a cheeky shit. Like, obviously everyone hates him for, you know, what he's done to Sherlock, but he's so cheeky that you have to love him. You just have to. Like, you know when he's driving off in the taxi and he's like, no charge. I was laughing my head off. I was like, you fuck.
He's like the Joker to Sherlock's Batman.
The death theories. I think everyone's come together and there's a pretty solid, like, you know, consensus of how he did it. Everyone sort of agreed on a main sort of theory. But if you have any other ideas, then put them in there. But I think generally what everyone thinks is that Molly used that mannequin when Sherlock jumped into the truck hired someone to push Watson over to buy them time.
Yeah.
In which time they switched out the mannequin with Sherlock and bloodied him up. There's a few interesting things about the ball he was bouncing as well.
Yeah.
When you give blood, they make you squeeze like a ball or something.
Yeah.
I think that he asked Molly to take his blood and then sort of fake the morgue reports as well.
Yeah.
As for the pulse, when I was watching it, I was thinking, well, he's obviously not going to die, so why is he crying?
Yeah.
And I did think that was a bit odd. And this is just this was someone's theory that, because the writer tweeted that he did something that was out of character and that no one had picked it up.
Yeah.
But I think it's the crying, because earlier on in the episode there's a certain chemical that's mentioned, and I can't remember the name of it. But this certain chemical slows your pulse
down,
or like slows it down a lot. But one of the side effects is watering eyes. So I don't think he was crying. I think he'd taken that. But if you have a different idea, comment. I hate. Come on, if you're one of those people that say he threw Moriarty off, just stand back and fuck your own face.
Go.
Yeah, like he managed all while Watson was watching. Remember, because Watson turns up.
Yeah.
Like as soon as Sherlock steps up to that thing, all while Watson was watching, Sherlock managed to run back to where Moriarty was, change clothes with him, drag his corpse to the edge of the roof, roll him off.
That's likely.
Come on.
That's likely, totally.
Just get out. As well, did you notice when Moriarty was like, oh, you have an audience? It was literally one person standing at the bottom of the building right where Sherlock jumped. And I think that might have been Molly, because right after that he's like, can I have a moment of privacy, please? And he's standing on the thing just looking down, like, is it ready yet?
And then he starts laughing.
Yeah, and he goes and buys himself a bit more time. But he just looks down like, fuck. Yeah. Preparations are still going on below.
It's like he wasn't ready to jump yet because downstairs wasn't ready, basically.
Are we not ready, Byron? I didn't like seeing Sherlock heartbroken.
I don't care.
Fair enough, being a soppy little shit is one thing, but then to just be like, like all the fucking time, I was like, get over it now. Remember, it spans over a year as well, and he hardly ever sees her in that year. Get your head out your ass, boy. Rant time. What do you guys think about American? Did I tell you this? America are doing their own take on our BBC Sherlock. From when we made BBC Sherlock to all the original Sherlock, no one's ever been like, let's modernise this, and it's just annoying that as soon as we do it, it's like, we'll do that, and it's an English character, it's a British character, and it's all set around being British and
British culture.
So just take it to America, and I know a lot of Americans really aren't happy about it. I mean, where's he gonna live? 221B Baker Avenue. It's you know what I mean.
Baker.
It's not gonna. There's no point. It's going to be called Elementary. And they're saying Elementary Dear Watson, which actually never appeared in any of the books. I think the phrase was coined on a stage show. I'm not sure, but I think it was a play.
It's in one of my QI books.
It kind of looks like the writers of the BBC Sherlock have gone to a lot of effort. They've really, really done their research. Like, there was a really, really good reference in the first, I think, is it the first episode of the first season? Maybe not, but it was in the first season. And he comes in, and Sherlock's wearing 3 nicotine patches, and he's like, it's a 3 patch problem. And in the books he says it's a 3 pipe problem. That was such a good that was really, really good. I enjoyed that. Yeah. And just the fact that they're calling it Elementary when that wasn't even used in the books. It's just, do your research. It just annoys me.
This shit's where it's at.
Hell yeah.
Leave it to them.
In the big British castle.
Yeah, leave it to the big British castle. Okay, it's like 2 in the morning.
Yeah,
we should probably stop this. Yeah. Okay.
See you later.
Good night, YouTube, or should I say good morning? I'll get her some mates.